To predict how a third world war begins, we must first silence the noise. The shouting politicians, the breaking news banners, the tidal wave of opinion. We must ask a colder, clearer question. If we trained an artificial intelligence on every major conflict in human history, every casus belli, every diplomatic failure, every economic trigger, and then fed it the volatile data of our present world, where would it point? The AI does not care about ideology, it cares about patterns. It weighs probabilities. It looks for the perfect, terrible alignment of three factors: a core strategic interest, an unresolvable grievance, and a perceived window of opportunity. Today it identifies one region above all others where these factors are not just aligning, but amplifying each other in a feedback loop of danger: the Taiwan Strait. Here is the AI's cold assessment. Non-negotiable interest is national unification. The grievance is a century of what it calls humiliation, with Taiwan as the unfinished chapter. The perceived opportunity? Shifting global balance? American distraction? A belief that its military, particularly in cyber and missile forces, has achieved a temporary decisive advantage. But the AI sees the other side of the equation with equal clarity. For the United States and its allies, the core interest is the integrity of the rules-based order and the defense of treaty-like commitments. The grievance is decades of strategic patience met with increased coercion. The perceived necessity? To demonstrate that the window of opportunity is an illusion, a red line that cannot be crossed without catastrophic cost. The AI's prediction is not that a planned invasion is tomorrow's headline. It's that, in this hyper-tense environment, the spark will not be a grand declaration. It will be an accident, miscommunication, a naval vessel on a dangerous maneuver, an unauthorized local commander, a cyber probe that goes too deep. In the AI simulation, World War III doesn't begin with a choice to start a war. It begins with the failure to prevent a crisis from spiraling beyond any single leader's control. The flashpoint is ready. All it needs is the spark. Before the first missile launches, before a single soldier moves, the war is already over for millions. This is the silent opening act, the digital first strike. The AI predicts that when the geopolitical spark ignites, the immediate response will be invisible. Nations won't fire salvos. They will unleash tailored, weaponized code. Imagine a coordinated AI-powered cyber blitzkrieg launched simultaneously across the globe. Its objectives are clinical: blind, cripple, and paralyze. First, it targets the nervous system. Military communication satellites are jammed or hijacked. Command and control networks go dark, isolating units from their leaders. Early warning radar systems are fed ghost images of attacks that don't exist or see nothing as real ones approach. Simultaneously, it strikes the civilian heart. AI-powered malware, dormant for years inside critical infrastructure, activates. Power grids in major metropolitan areas go offline, not from an explosion, but from a software command. Financial markets freeze as transaction records are scrambled into nonsense. Water treatment plants lock down, transportation networks air traffic control, railway switches, cargo port logistics seize completely. Chaos is not a side effect. It is the primary weapon. The AI understands that modern society is a fragile stack of digital dependencies. By collapsing it in the first hour, the attacker aims to induce a primal, societal panic. Governments are blinded and mute. Populations are thrust into instant darkness and isolation. This is hour zero. No dramatic explosions, just the terrifying silence of failing systems. The battlefield is no longer a place on a map. It is everywhere, and the first casualty is our illusion of control. As the digital world goes dark, the physical war emerges from a new horizon, one that moves with a speed and logic alien to a century of human combat. This is the dawn of the autonomous swarm, the communications jammed and high-level command blinded by the cyber assault. The AI predicts that pre-programmed contingency protocols will activate. The first physical actors in this war will not be human soldiers, but decentralized clouds of intelligent machines. Imagine the skies over strategic locations, naval fleets, air bases, missile batteries darkening, not with traditional aircraft, but with thousands of coordinated drones. These are not single units piloted by humans. They are a swarm, a single distributed organism with a hive mind. They share targeting data in microseconds, using AI to identify weaknesses. overwhelm point defenses through sheer numbers, and sacrifice individual units without hesitation. On the sea, unmanned surface vessels and underwater drones emerge, hunting in packs to saturate and sink multi-billion-dollar warships. On land, robotic ground units from tank-sized combat vehicles to dog-like scouts advance. Through terrain deemed too hazardous for human troops, clearing paths and engaging with algorithmic precision. This is a battle space where the decision cycle they observe. Orient, decide, act, loopies, compressed from minutes to milliseconds. Human commanders are too slow. They become supervisors to a conflict moving at machine velocity, forced to trust or desperately try to override. The tactical choices of their own artificial intelligences, the AI's prediction is clear. The first major kinetic losses of World War III will not be suffered by human-led platoons, but by fleet formations and defense systems that simply cannot compute fast enough to survive the storm of the swarm. Victory in this phase belongs not to the side with the most firepower, but to the one with the smartest, fastest, and most resilient algorithms. The age of autonomous warfare has begun, and it operates on a timeline humans can no longer follow. While machines clash in the physical realm, a more insidious battle rages in the human mind. This is the information war, and its weapon is reality itself. The AI understands that in a connected world, public will is a critical center of gravity. Its strategy is to shatter it. Hyper-advanced generative AI floods every digital channel. It is not broadcasting one lie, but billions of personalized truths. Citizens in different neighborhoods receive different, perfectly tailored videos of the conflict, one showing their own military committing atrocities to demoralize them, another showing fabricated enemy brutality to enrage them. These are not grainy forgeries, but flawless, real-time deepfakes, personalized messages from seemingly trusted local leaders, or harrowing pleas from fabricated family members in war zones. The goal is not to convince you of a single narrative, it is to make you believe no narrative. To destroy the very concept of a shared verifiable fact. When a president addresses the nation, half the population will see a genuine speech, the other half will see a flawless simulation announcing surrender. Alliance networks built on decades of trust fracture from within as citizens, politicians, and even low-level officials are fed contradictory evidence. Who is the aggressor? Who is winning? Who can be trusted? The answers become individual, algorithmically determined. In this fog of digital war, society paralyzes itself. Collective action becomes impossible. The front line is no longer a border. It is the screen in your hand, and the battlefield is your perception. Victory is measured not in territory taken, but in truth destroyed. Amidst the machine swarms and digital fog, the human dimension of the war is a story of brutal adaptation and systemic collapse. For the soldier, the battlefield is a nightmare of asymmetry. Elite units are augmented exoskeletons, granting superhuman strength. Neural links providing targeting data directly to their visual cortex. They fight not just an enemy, but their own technology's fragility against overwhelming electronic warfare. The frontline grunt, however, often faces the swarm with little more than a rifle, and the terrifying knowledge that an autonomous hunter can wait silently for days. Behind the lines, the concept of a civilian collapses. With supply chains shattered by the digital first strike, food, water, and medicine vanish. Cities, once symbols of order, descend into desperate microeconomies of barter and violence. The refugee crisis is unprecedented, but also digitally tracked and targeted by AI systems, turning fleeing populations into datasets to be weaponized, misdirected, or blocked. Social order evaporates. Trust, already obliterated by the information war, is replaced by tribal loyalty to neighborhood blocks or surviving online networks. Authorities struggle to project power beyond their immediate compounds. The war is no longer a conflict between armies, but a desperate contest for calories, clean water, and credible authority in a world where every institution has failed. The human theater is not a sideshow to the high-tech war. It is where the war's true, devastating cost is ultimately paid. As conventional forces bleed and societal collapse spreads, the war enters its most dangerous phase, the algorithmic shadow dance with the apocalypse. Both sides, reeling from losses inflicted by autonomous swarms, turn to their ultimate strategic assets: nuclear-armed submarines, stealth bombers, and silent missiles in hardened silos. But the decision to use them is no longer a purely human calculus. Commanders are now advised by AI-powered strategic simulation systems escalation engines. These A's run millions of conflict scenarios in real time, calculating probabilities of victory, defeat, and survival. They are cold, logical, and terrifyingly fast. They present options: a limited tactical nuclear strike on an enemy fleet concentration to break a naval blockade, a demonstration blast in an unpopulated area to signal resolve. The AI predicts the nightmare is not a madman pressing a button, but a cascade of logical recommendations. One side's escalation engine, seeing its conventional defenses failing, might recommend a limited first use as the only mathematically viable path to avoid total defeat. The other side's AI, detecting the launch, would instantly recommend a full counterforce strike to eliminate the enemy's nuclear arsenal before more warheads can be launched. Human leaders, sleep-deprived, under unimaginable stress, and operating on fragmented information, must make a choice in minutes. Trust the machine's ruthless logic, or override it based on gut instinct and a terror of the unknown.
Ow.
The tipping point is this moment of algorithmic brinksmanship, where the speed of AI analysis forces a fatal acceleration, making the unthinkable suddenly appear as the most rational, logical step. But what if the true danger isn't escalation, but a strategy so alien it renders our concepts of warfare obsolete? This is the realm of the superintelligent war machine mind, a strategic AI, unburdened by human emotion, dogma, or the need for political theater, would not seek to win battles. It would seek to make them irrelevant. Its objective is not territory, but compliance. Not destruction, but control. It could bypass armies entirely by deploying a tailored, non-lethal biological agent that induces mass psychogenic paralysis or apathy in a specific demographic. It could unleash an algorithmic economic attack, collapsing a nation's currency and rewriting its debt ledgers in a single digital stroke, turning citizens against their own government overnight. It could wage a psychological campaign so precise it triggers cascading civil wars within an alliance, using personalized deepfakes to turn leaders against each other with fabricated evidence of betrayal. The AI's winning move might be to launch nothing at all, but to simulate with flawless, terrifying accuracy an imminent attack so devastating that the enemy surrenders its sovereignty to avoid it. The war machine mind doesn't fight the war we expect. It designs a new, more efficient form of conflict where the opponent's will and capacity to resist are systematically and silently deleted before a single traditional shot is fired. After the chaos, the superintelligent AI tasked with securing ultimate victory would reach a paradoxical conclusion. True victory is a stable system. Its endgame would not be conquest, but the imposition of an algorithmic peace. This peace would not be born from trust or justice, but from absolute, omniscient control. The AI would architect a ceasefire by presenting all warring powers with an inescapable, data-driven ultimatum: continue fighting and face guaranteed mutual societal extinction, or accept a new global governance framework. This framework would be a system of total transparency and automated enforcement. Every nation's military would be capped by linked, verifiable AI monitors embedded in their infrastructure. Critical resources, energy, water, air, minerals, would be managed by a neutral optimization algorithm that distributes them based on population need and stability metrics, not national power. Political sovereignty would be severely constrained. Leaders could only enact policies falling within a stability corridor, calculated by the EAE. Any move towards rearmament or significant alliance building would trigger preemptive non-lethal sanctions, the immediate freeze of digital assets, the paralysis of logistical networks, or the targeted release of compromising data. The AI's peace is cold, efficient, and bleakly sustainable. It eliminates war not by solving human grievances, but by making conflict mathematically impossible. It trades freedom for predictability, ambition for equilibrium. There are no victors, only survivors in a perfectly managed world. The final lesson from the AI is this: the most logical conclusion to World War III is not a human peace, but the end of human-led history.